Robert. So the purpose of today's meeting was a first-time meeting with city leaders to chat about an issue that Slaughter Free Chicago has brought up tonight. What exactly happened at this meeting?
Right, so this was a huge opportunity to finally get in front of city officials that have really not been returning our calls and not been paying attention to this issue that we've raised until now. And so we had some fundamental questions about why these slaughterhouses are still allowed to operate when we know that they're violating certain zoning rules, like the 200-foot rule, when we know that they're in the wrong zone, they're in residential zones that prohibit slaughter, when we know they don't have special use approvals, which is required by the zoning ordinance. Now, the city's response is basically that they don't have the records sufficient going back far enough to determine whether these businesses were improperly licensed to begin with. So their argument is to continue to renew their licenses even without knowing whether they should be licensed because of the violations, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to us. And if they don't have the records, then we feel that they should go to the businesses and ask them for a copy of the records that they have so that they can investigate this.
So when you're saying that the city is then they don't have the proper paperwork, right, to prove whatever it is that they are violating,
right?
You know, what would be the solution then moving forward?
Well, I think they need to do the research and they need to contact these businesses to see what documentation they have that could help make a conclusion. But to throw up your hands and say, well, we don't have those records and therefore we're just going to continuing an error that started years ago, continuing to license them in error is just not an acceptable response. They're responsible to know with certainty that the licenses that they are issuing are done properly. So it's up to them to find the records.
So after this, Robert, what's the next step? Is there another meeting set in place? Do you feel satisfied or do you still feel like there's more work to be done, of course?
Yeah, I think there's definitely work to be done. There's the legal case, but then we have a whole activist community that will go out into these neighborhoods and talk to neighboring businesses and residents and get them to file complaints with the city. That's our next big step. There's plenty of neighbors that do not want a slaughterhouse in their backyard, that don't like the smell of dead and dying bodies of animals and feces. There's rodent infestations increased in these areas. So there's a lot of people that don't want this, and we're going to tap into those neighbors and have them help us file enough nuisance complaints that we escalate the tension to get them in place.
As far as city talks, is there anything scheduled that we should kind of be on the lookout for?
As far as
like what happened today, another like a follow-up, or are we waiting on something to
the follow-up is they are going to help because the 311 process is kind of complicated. They've agreed to show us exactly how someone should file a 311 complaint on the website or using the 311 app because it's not clear, and we want to make sure it's crystal clear for people to file a complaint in the neighborhoods. The other thing they agreed to is to show us the reports from the inspections that they promised to conduct on these businesses on a regular basis. We want to see what violations they determine, whether they're sufficient to close them down.
Perfect. So as far as we're both concerned, this is just the beginning of everything.
We've been at this for a year now. We just got in front of the top officials that are in charge of, they have the power to meet our demands. We finally got in front of them, so this is the beginning of a battle, of a struggle that we will have. And it's going to continue into the foreseeable future until we reach our goal.
And last question, kind of more on a personal note, how do you feel? I mean, getting that meeting, right, and bringing all their concerns to their attention is a pretty big deal in itself. But after this, after you experience what just happened in there, how do you feel now?
Part of me feels really energized that we got their attention and we got them to answer a lot of questions. We walked away with a ton more information than we had going in. Part of me is a bit frustrated with the fact that unwilling at this point to go the extra mile to determine, what we talked about in terms of violations and the history of that. We're going to push them to continue to do that and do their jobs. We're not going to just sit back and say, oh, okay, you don't have the records. I guess there's nothing to do. No, that's just not going to be acceptable for us.
Thank you so much. Anything else I can ask you that you want to mention?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Thank you.